So we're going to be developing this application, this JobX and job listing application. So we're going to be implementing the search functionality, the filtering functionality, and the sort functionality. If you notice, we're having all here that is showing us all our job listings. Let's try the the search functionality. That is front end, or can just put front. We're still going to get the results that we want. So it's going to show us only the front end in developer job listing. Even though we type front just FRO, we're still going to get this. So you can come to here to our to go to all the job listings available, and also come here, that's the backend engineer roles, the DevOps engineer roles, and so on like that. You can also filter. For now, we can't use, since we have narrowed down to the DevOps engineer roles, we can't use job title, we can only use the job salary. You can try ascending, but let's see what to give us from the ascending part. You notice that if it's going from 50,000 to 90,000, if we then come to descending, it should go from 90,000 to 50,000. That is $50,000. So let's try it for our hall. In our hall here, if you notice it, there's no kind of sorting here. Looking at it from, there's no kind of sorting. So let's try the job title descending. So if you notice it, we are going from U to B, which is the back end. So let's try the ascending. So it should go for B to U. So B to U. And also, if we try the salary rule, then salary sorting, we're also going to see that it's going to go from the lowest, from the highest to the lowest using the descending order. So let's do the descending rules. We're going to see it going from 90,000 to 50,000. And also, if you go from ascending, also going to see that it's going from 50 to 90,000. So wow, that is the search functionality with our filter functionality and also sorting functionality. You will notice here in our URL that as we are changing this filter and source functionality, our search params here are also changing. Also, we are going to be using the search parameters to filter and also sort with searching also. So you can also view listing of any one we want. Let's view the listing of this. That is UI/UX designer. You will notice there in the first of all, in the head parameter, that is part of the SEO parameter, the metadata. We are going to see that we are changing it from UI to UI UX designer to front end or anyone. This one will also change. So let's go back. Let's try backend dev to see what I'm trying to explain. That's it. I'm going to see here details on backend developer. So I'm also going to be doing that too. So we're going to be putting this application together. Let's dive in. Okay, to proceed with developing our application, let's create a new folder. So let's name it in mjobx, naming it in small letter. So come to our terminal. So to access our folder, we need to go to the desktop. Okay, open two terminals here. Let's go to the desktop. Then from there, we're going to access our folder. So now we're going to install our next application by using npx create next dash app at latest. Now to install NextJS into the folder, we're going to use /. So let's proceed. I'm going to wait for it to load up. So let's wait. It said, would you like to use TypeScript? Yes. ES linked, yes. PVCSS, yes. We're not using SLC. We're using app router, yes, that is even recommended. So import alias, not that important. Okay. So our Next.js app is installed successfully into our JobX folder. So we're inside the folder JobX, and I've actually presently deleted all the tests that were in here provided by Next.js, and I've replaced them with hello world, div and hello world. Okay, so to start with, we are going to be creating the navbar. And to do that, let's start with giving our class name background orange 200, and let's put our for the pixel as medium screen. Let's put our padding right and left to be 20. Okay, and let's continue styling. Let's put another div here, and the h2 tag. We can put any heading tag that we like, but let us go with h2 tag. So in our h2 tag, let's put the link. So our link will be job, and since I want to style the X part, I'm going to just enclose it. And if you notice, you are seeing a red line here. This is due to the due to fact I have not installed this, and also I have not had the href. But let's first install it. Let's see if this it has been installed. And our href, let's just put it as slash. Okay, so let's time this. Let's style our heading tag. Going to be styling it with text to Excel font, making our font to be extra bold, and let's see how it will look like. Okay, if you notice it, everything was rearranged. This is due to the fact that I have my Prettier plugin enabled. Okay, remove the sidebar, and we're expecting to see a change here. But let's continue and let's just move on. Okay, so the next one we're going to add is we're going to add, since we're okay, let's add the button. Okay, I'm going to leave our button to be, let's add a link to our button. Let's call it contact us. That will be where we're going to use the node mailer, and let's input href to remove the href. I haven't created a file routing for the contact folder yet. Okay, we're already seeing it here. Okay, I haven't created this, but let's see. Let's type this our button with a class name of background orange. Let's put it as 950. I'm padding both left and right to be 2, and for okay, let's give it a text of white. Let's make it rounded, not that much rounded, just rounded, and let's put an over of background orange 200. Let's make it 800. Okay, this one is showing this yellow underline here is due to fact that I've not joined it to the over test well. Okay, let's see how it will present. Waiting to see. Okay, that is, we need to flex this. We can put this into a div, both of them into separate div. That is the heading tag and the button tag. Let's do that. Oh, I made a mistake here. Okay, okay, let's put the button tag into a div. See, think so. We're going to flex this. Let's see. We can add the flex here though. But I want to just create another div. Should we just add the flex? Let's add the flex there. Let's add the flex there. Okay, delete this. Okay, think so. Let's add our flex. That is flex. I'm going to justify between. Let's see how it will look like. So let's put a padding of 8 for just the small screen size, and a padding top of 2. I think that would be 4 pixels. I'm not sure, but let me just see how it will look like here. Okay, I don't really want this, so that's why let me just create a div. Okay, and I will bring this. So instead of putting this here, I will just cut it and replace it here. So let's see how it will look like. Padding bottom. Again, let me put the padding bottom of. Let's start with 5 because I want this. Okay, let's start with 5. Okay, so as we continue standing on, we're going to see the usefulness of me putting the padding bottom, and also let's continue by adding the hero with search. So for that, we have to create another div. Another div here. Okay, so this div, we are going to be giving it a class name because we are going to be flexing, adding the flex. So we're going to give it a class name of mdflex because it's going to be flexing on the medium screen, but on the small screen it's not going to be flexing. So md mt14 as the margin top 14, and then let's add another div. So this will contain, let's give it a class name of mt8 mt4, and for the last screen let's make it margin top of 10 excel. For the extra last screen let's make it margin top of 14, and for the medium size screen let's make it width of 50%. So let's add like our p tag, right, the paragraph tag. So I'm going to add are you in search of a job? Find your dream job now. Find your dream job. I think this is okay. Let's tell our p tag. Okay, mx auto, and then width. The reason why I'm putting this width is actually to make it, well, let's see. It's actually showing the medium size screen up and above, that's large screen and extra large. But for now, let's see, I'm not seeing one of, okay. Let's center. Let's make it, I'm going to make it center, and also I'm going to make the font bold and the text. Let's see what I've done so far. Okay, here is it here. I think it's looking pretty good. Let's add another div here. And it's in this div, we're actually going to put our our inputs, our search input. So let's see what I can do. Let's put input. So let's type this first. Let's give it a relative of flex, and relative I mean flex. And the reason I'm putting this relative is because I'm going to be putting the button inside the search input. So the button will be inside the search input. I'm going to give the parent div a class name of relative. So justify center. Next to center it empty5, that is the magic top 5, with need to be 66%. Okay, so for the small screen, I'm going to have 1/2, and the medium size screen with 2/3. Now let's make the light to be a width of 50%. Give it MS02 to center it, to actually center it. So I think we don't really need to go the work. Let's see, we're going to see the usefulness of MS02. Okay, input. So since we're using a test, a type test, we don't need to change anything there. And I also need to add the button now. Okay, let's add the button from before we start styling the input. Okay, for the button, we're having, let's put, we're going to call it search. And I didn't spell search well. Okay, the class, let's start give a class name of, make it rounded. Oh, nice. Class name rounded. What else? Let's make it rounded full, and px of, that is padding both left and right of 3, and our height, let's make it 80%. Okay, right 1 up to be 10%. Now background orange 950. Text white, and let's make it absolute to be able to control it better, and also give it an over of background orange of 800. So let's style our input here. So let's see how it will look first before we start styling the input. Okay, so our input, to style it, let's give it a padding of left and right, so width full, padding top and bottom, and also text border of 2. Okay, let's have 9 now, and also let's make it rounded full so that we rhyme with our styling of our button. And also, those can I do, that is border orange to be 950. I think it should work like that. Yes, so we're getting what we want. So from here we can now, since we're done styling the input and everything, so let's now style our image. our image. So to do that, we're going to this relative. So we're going to okay the div of we are not putting it under the div of relative. So I'm making a different div. That's another section under the overall section here. So div that will be, let's give it its time class name empty10 as md empty5 and md width of 50%. Okay, so let's add our image. Ms to import it. Okay, and give it a source. Let me just call the source hero section. That is the source of our image. This image is supposed to be imported by now. Okay, I think the reason why it's showing us this red is because I haven't put the alt. Let's hero image and then our width and height. Let's give it 900. We're still going to customize this, and our height will be, let's say, 100. Well, I've not imported our hero section. We've not imported the hero section. Let's so import hero section from, that is, so I think I've put the file in the public folder. That is this job jpg. I'm going to be dropping the link to where I downloaded this on Pixabay or in the description below. So I think public/job.jpg. Okay, let's see what we're gonna get. Hero section is not divided. So I'll divide, we've put it there. So as to see the, okay, I'm waiting. Okay, so I have our image here. It remains for us to style it. Okay, so styling this, I'm going to give it a class name. Let's give it a of class name of size 2/3 and mx auto to center it, and then let's, for the medium size upward, we're going to give it a size of 3/4. That is, I mistakenly spelled wrong. Size 3/4. So after giving it a size of 3/4, we're going to make it rounded. Let's say the product. Yeah. So we've gotten what we want, and now let's create the part for the filter component. So let's, the div we're going to be creating will be under this. Yes. So first, let's create our div, and then we are going to style it space x4 space y. So let's add the button. So our button, we are going to put all. Okay, and then let's see, we're going to want 2 or more buttons. The front end rules, another rules. So let's copy this and paste it. So let's call it the front end engineer, front end engineer, and also we're going to add for the back end engineer. Also, we're going to add DevOps. Okay, I won't join it together. Just join DevOps. Okay, and also we're going to add ML rules. ML rules. Let me just ML engineer. Let me put engineer for the DevOps. I think that's all we need for now. So let's style these these buttons. We're going to give the class name of background orange of 950. So let's give it make it a text white. The padding on both sides to be 2 and padding top and bottom to be 1. So setting the border here to be 2 and then giving the color of the border to be orange 900. Okay, so let's make the font a little bit bold, that is semi bold, and then make it rounded. Okay, and what else? And our over, let's over it. Our overing will be background orange of 800. Okay, let's see our product here first. Okay, let's see. Okay, so we're getting this hovering over it. Okay, that means for the whole, you can also use this styling for everything, but I want to make it a situation in which this one will only be for the active, this styling will be for the active one, while there will be another particular styling for the unactive ones. So for now, since we're not entering um the database part for now, let's just style the other ones with the unactive ones, unactive styling. Okay, so made a mistake there. Okay, so class name. So our class name here will be background white and our border will be 2. Let's say the border to 2. And then style the border with, let's set it to 950 and make the text black. So give it a padding and padding to also. So font, let's make the font semi bold. Let's see, semi bold. Okay, and rounded as normal and over. And over will be background orange of, let's say it's 800. Let's see how it will work. Show the effects here. I'm waiting for that. That is for front-end engineer. Okay, so let me just copy this time. I'm going to copy this time. I don't think we should we make it semi good. Okay, let's copy this side. Let's see. Okay, I want to copy and use this time for all the other ones. Made mistake. So we've styled the other buttons. I'm waiting to see the results here. Okay, now I want to make this to be in the center. I think what we can do now is to simply, no, this is not the div. We're going to come down to the div here. We're going to make it center by, let's give it a width of 3/4 and an mx tool. So it should center this. Let's see here. So in case you want to center it, well, let's do this. Let's see what you have on the medium size screen size medium screen and large size. I'm getting an error here. Seems we've put the div in the wrong place. You should have put this here and it should give us what you want now. Yes. So that was the mistake we made. The section was still under a particular div. We didn't separate the div. Okay. So I want this background, this color. Okay, let's leave it like this. Okay. Continue. So since we've done for the filter, but I want this there to be a margin top, a space up here. So let's give it a margin top of 10. So to separate it a bit. Okay. I'll make it 16. Now let's prepare for the sorting. The sort. So let's create a div for that. Let's create a div. I want to separate this div so I won't be mistaking them for each other. Okay. So let's style. Since our div our the sorting section we have the select. Let's put the select tag under this div and style the div. Let's give it a styling of empty 8 and let's add select, and of course it's going to have an option. The option, and also let's give option here will be sort by job. No, sort by job title. Okay, ascending. Okay, so we're going to create another option tag. Instead of creating another option tag, why? Let's just save this first. So it will be, so just copy this. I think this is enough. So we're going to sort by title. Let's put it as descending for the first one, ascending, and also the salary. So I'm going to put the salary as descending first and ascending for this other one. I think for now, let's just see what we've done. Okay, so now I'm going to style the select tag. Let's give the select tag a class name of border 2, and let's say the border here to be orange color, and the padding of left and right setting it to 2, padding of the top and bottom to 2, and the round, let's make it rounded and give it a transparent background. Okay, you should see the effect here. Okay, see, so let's style the options. So we're going to be styling the options by just giving it a simple um styling. Let's first make it a test of large and px to give it a border, set the border to 2 and then set the color of the border to deep orange. So let's just copy this and apply it to other ones. Okay. Made a mistake, then copy it well. Okay. Okay. Think you should take effect now. Our styling, the text is large. Okay. Now we want to center this. You can also just use the same method we used by setting the time width to 3/4 and mx auto. Yeah, I think that should be enough. Let's just use flex, justify center. Okay, flex and justify center. Okay, yes. So what else? Let's then go to the job list section. So let me keep this div. I might later be adding this div to their respective components later, but not now. I want to first style everything. So for the job list, we're going to give it a div and let's style the div first. And we're going to give it a place because we're going to be using grid for this. A place in time item center and our margin top we're setting it to 4 and our grid goes to be 2. Nice for this smallest and smaller screen. So for the medium screen, our grid hole will be 3, while we're going to set our width. Let's just set the width to 4/5. Now, let's see what this will give us. Let's just set an XL grid goals of 4 gap y, that is top and bottom of 4. Okay, so let's set the medium gap to be y. So okay, so let's just give a padding of 2 in the left and right hand. The gap, let's set it to 6. Okay, so let's then create another div. This no, I made okay. This div will contain all the let's create this div first. So let's give it a class name, be the size of the div. So class name of size, let's set the size to 135 pixel and for the medium screen we'll set the size to 48 to make it rounded and give it a background color of orange 200 and give it a space of let's say the space 4. Okay, let's then justify between, okay, and flex all. Let's see, um okay. So for this, let's now begin to style the content within this div. So first, we are going to be adding the p tag. This will contain, let's say the back, let's give it a bucket ending here. Okay. And what else again? Let's style this div. I'm going to style it with pt of 2 and px of 2. Okay. And styling the text, we'll make it the smallest text as text xs I mean. Okay. And we'll make it the round, the border radius to be full, that is rounded full, and px. So I think this is enough for this p tag. And then let's then put our job title. So our job title, I think thinking of where to put it. Let's first see what we have here. Okay, okay. Though I haven't put a background color, let's put a background color of white. White. Let's try cyan. I'm still going to change all these things using the data from database do. So I just want to just see what's going to give us. Okay. So let's put the test center. Test center. Okay. So this is showing us, I don't want this background. So I want the background to be white. What I'm going to do is get the background to be white. Okay. Let's make it night screen. Okay. Let's give it a minimum height screen of that. I think the problem here should be from we using the styles. Okay. Actually, you are still in the parent div of this. So you can style that using that. So let's just say background orange. This one we just think, let's remove this. Let's I'm going to add a div. So I'm going to add this div, and then this styling we're going to copy it, put it, and put it here. I think we will get what. Okay, this is it. Back end engineer. Okay, let me just as back end dev. So we have this. Still have other things to style. So let's create another small div, another section under this small bigger parent div. Okay, so let's give it a tag. That will contain the title. Let's first style it first. Let's first put the tag. Okay, then let's say backend developer. And let's give it a class name. Let's start this with tag. I give it a class name of text. Let's make the text 16 pixels. Okay, and then text left. Does it why let's just do this first. Okay, let's give the font of bold. The reason, yes, we're going to make it text left. I need to redesign. Okay, then let's start the div. Our div will have a padding top of 2, and for the medium screen size will be padding top of 6. Okay, so let's see what we have. Okay, we have backend developer here. Yeah, this is what I'm looking for now. Yes, let's give this div, create another div. So this div will contain the location. So let's give it a p tag, and let's put the location as New York, US. Okay, made the wrong spelling here. Let's try this and give it. Let's give it a test of small size, and I think that should be enough. So and our class name, let's give it mad, padding top for the medium size screen to be 3. Okay, I want to say this. Okay, now we're going to add the button next. We're going to be adding the button next by creating another div. So this div will contain the button, and we're going to call this button view listing. So let's start give the button a class name of orange. Nine 50 and a padding. Let's give the padding, make it rounded, and also give it the padding of 1 for top and bottom, and the text, let's make the text white. I think this should be enough. Let's start the div. So I'm going to give the div a padding top of 3 and mx auto to make it center, width of 4/5. Let's see what it gives us. Okay, I have this here. Though this is not entering inside, but let's see on the medium size screen. The view listing is not in the center of what I'm saying here. Okay, let's see what we did here. So we said you'll have flex justify between, and then uh, items center. I think this should be enough. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to make this item center for this the MD to fix that. Okay. Made an error yourself. Okay. Yes. Think we should go once. Yes. No, it's not still giving us what we want. So I was supposed to add an MD item center. So MD item center. Instead of doing this, is a empty where we're going to remove this and put our MD items center, and also we're going to be putting this to the center also. Next, justify, start. Mm, another like this. So you forgotten to add the salary. Okay, salary should be in between this. Okay, let's put the salary here. Where is salary in between this? So create a div and let's a tag and give it something like 30,000, and let's call it. I think we can give it a styling of test xm, test left, and our div. Okay, I think now can also put the div to minus empty one to raise it up better, and also give it minus empty 4 for the medium screen. Let's first view it on a smaller screen first. We brought this down. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I think you can increase this further by giving it, let's say, 40. Okay. Oh, mistake. No, 50. I think it's good to go like this. Okay. Ah, but this is not in the center. Let's first test this out on our grid out first. Control C. Let's first see what we have. Okay. Yeah. Let's view it on. Let's view this on. Okay. Okay, so I want there to be more space in the left and right side. So what we're going to do is to give this a, let's just give it a padding left and right of 20. So again, let me look for the parent div here. I'm saying it so let's make it PS20. Should come closer now. Okay, so not as closer as I want. Let me say it again. Where's the error here? So MD20. Let's give it LG40. I want it to be smaller. The space to be, I want the space to be wider, yes. So I think it's enough like this. Good to go like that. Okay. Yeah. So we've started this, we've done this, and we've also, now it's time to create the contact us folder or the contact us route. Okay. So what we're going to do is to open this file, the folder, and we're also simply going to create a folder in this app directory. Create a folder, call it contacts, contacts, and then we're going to give it a name of page.txs. So export default function of contacts, return div, okay, hello. Let's view this. By now, if you click on this, it should take us to a contact us. Actually, you can see it's showing in this bottom corner here. So let's click on it. Hello. So when our order, our routing is correct, so let's go back. First of all, we need to change this create next app. So let's go back to our page.css app and change it by exporting async function, async function generates metadata. Okay, then simply give it our return, then give this the title is, the title actually will be let's call the title job X find a job. Okay, I think this is enough. Let's work this. Okay, but this title represents this create new stuff. So we should see the changes here. So find a job. So if you go to the contact us, you can also just copy this. So to save the stress and just put it down here. And instead of job X, just find a job. Let's call it contact us. So if you should click here, we're going to see it changes effects. Let's try contact us. So you see it change to effect. So we are going to come back to styling this later. Before going into styling our contact us page, let's first break down, put all these into their respective components. So what I will do is to make a parent component and then create the child component under the parent component, and then I'm going to be adding these divs there. So let's do that. Let's call our parent component, let's see, let's just give it a name of all comp. Let's component full. Okay, so I will need to create a component folder. So components, make sure you spell it correctly, because if it's not well spelled, you are not going to see the effect. So components, we're going to create all comp.txs. So what we're going to do is to export default function all comp. This will mainly be use a client component. We're going to use it as a client component. So let's begin to put in our components. So we're going to be putting all these in. That is Ctrl X and Ctrl V. Let's see. We will need to import this. Okay. So we're going to bring them to our own comp. We're going to be seeing errors in this other side. Well, as we continue, we expect them to change. So let's import our all comp. Let us automatically import it by just typing all comp, and then it will import it for us. So I think everything should be alright like this. Okay, we're getting what we have back. Okay, so the next one is to break down this parent component. Put down all this into the put all these sections into the child component. So we're going to be able to easily pass data in between them. And also this job list that we created, we can also make it just one, since we're still going to go over a particular array of job details. So let's just make it one. So to do that, we're going to just do this. Try to be careful, and think we should get what we want. It should take effect here. Yeah, so let's just work with one first. So let's look for a name to give this component, this first component. Let's split this into, we're going to call this component the navbar component. This is the navbar component. So okay, let's create the navbar component, navbar.tss. Okay, so we're going to cut it and then export default function, just nav return this. So we bring this in. We're going to need to import our link. So let's replace this with navbar component. I think it should be looking like this. Then the next one will be the hero section with image. We are going to see it here soon. Okay, hero section with image. This is, I'm going to create this. So our hero section, let us call it hero section. So let's export default function hero section, and I have to go and copy this from here, cut it, and then paste it. Let's import this. No, I have to just, I have to bring it from here. Let's see, Ctrl X. So I'm going to import them here. I think it should be okay like this. Okay, I'm waiting for it to show. I'm not in need of any link here, so waiting for this to show. Hero section with image. Oh, I haven't replaced that. My bad. Hero section. Okay, so let's call this the filter component. This, let me see. Okay, I'm going to call this the filter component. So filter, new file, filter comp. Okay, export default function, and calling it filter comp. Okay, so let's copy this from here and bring it here. So I think this is all we need for that, for this filter component. Yeah, okay, so let's import our filter components here. It's not importing automatically. Okay, so I think what remains now is the sort component, then followed by the job list. So let's create the sort component in the component folder. New file, sort comp.ts, export default sort comp, return. So let's copy that from here. Let's cut it and paste it here. I think that should be off here. Then let's import it. See, I'm going to have to import it here. Okay, so the next one is our job list, the one that contains the job list, the section that contains the job list is this. So we're going to create a component for job list, new file, job list dot css, export default function as usual. So job list. Okay, let's go to it now. Let's go call it. I'm going to call this here and replace it. So let's call this the let's put the job list component, import it here. So I think everything should be set by now. Let's see, just waiting for the job list component to show. Okay, so we're all right. Now what we're going to do is to make this all component a client component, as I've said earlier. So let's see, we're going to make it a client component. So we making it a client component automatically makes all this a client component. Let's import use client. So think everything automatically becomes the a client component. Other component under this parent component called all com automatically becomes a parent com. Okay, shouldn't be getting any error. All right, so let's import our start working on our filtering and sorting functionality. What we are going to first do is to import db. So the fake database, which let me remove all this, clear all this. Okay, so we're going to be working with our fake database. I have it here. I'm going to be dropping it in the description below. Let me show you. It's in our lib folder. So db.cs. Okay, let me remove this. So we're going to be I'm going to drop this folder in the description below. So let's start working and implementing our filtering functionality. I mean, okay. To do that, we're going to have to import db. Installing db from our lib folder. What we're going to do? Let's first create a function. That is function of let's name it get jobs. Get jobs. Then let's so what we're going to do is probably let's to get all the data we are going to be storing them in the data variable, and we are going to type db should import, yes, automatically import it dot map. So let's call it jobs, just map over it, and just call it jobs. Then we're going to save return data. I think that should be all for now. So what we're going to do here is to just say const. I'm going to give it a variable. Let's give it a variable of jobs equals get jobs. Okay, so I think we should be able to console log and see our data in our terminal. Okay, I want to see our data in the terminal. So we are getting all our data from our fig database. Okay, let me clear this. So we can easily just send it as a prop to this jobs equals jobs. I think this should be okay. Jobs equals jobs. So we're going to go to our all pump, go to source definition, our all pump, and import jobs. Put the job props. I mean, since we're sending it as a prop from our app component, so let's put it as any, just the types, since we're using TypeScript. Now we're going to be using it in our job list. So let's send it as a prop to job list. So we're going to have to open job list also, and we'll go to our source definition. The source definition, easily access it, and then let's we're going to be bringing it as appropriate jobs. Let's put it as any. Okay, so we're going to be putting our job location here. Let's, instead of all this, we're going to just be putting job. No, first of all, we're going to map, send this jobs.map to be able to get them. So get a list jobs.map job. Let's put the job as any. So job. What we are going to actually do, so instead of putting job, we are just going to delete it and put it here. Okay. So we're going to add our key here. Our key will be job.id. Job.id. Okay. Then we're going to make our, instead of putting backend dev, we're going to call it, let me see, I'm going job.title. Then let me see if I'm correct. Job.title here. Job.title. Title. Okay. Then let me clear our terminal. Job.title. So for this one also, we're going to be using job.title. So if there is no job.title, it should show. If there is no job, it should show on device, an error of one device. So instead of, so we're actually trying to manage error using this optional distance control. Okay, so job dot think is salary. Let me over this. Coming. Let's call it salary. Or let's just pick salary. Let's see what it gives. Okay. We're having different stuff here. We're having up to 10. If you have up to 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So our salary, then the salary, then let's add the job dot location. Job dot location. Now for this, instead of giving it, I think we can see, we can actually give this, instead of giving it a color for the title, for this title I'm trying to look for the color of background color. Okay, this is it. So we can actually see, let's give it a color. I think we added the label for, let's see, the label, that is the color label, job.label. So yeah, this is it here, job.label. So for, we have different label for different list details, job details. Okay, so what we're going to do now is to simply, let's just all this. Okay, and then so our background maybe, mm, let's see, let's see, so let's call it job.label. Then let us give it 400, and let's see whether to give us a color. I'm not actually seeing a change. Instead of this, we can actually, since we're not seeing any change, we can actually create another style for this. Let's press Ctrl Z. We can just give it an inline style by saying style. So we're going to give it a background. Our background color will be background color. I'm going to give it as okay, to be job. Let's just be as job.label. It should take effect using this method. Okay, so this front end developer dev, this title, what we are going to do to it is to reduce, the character. So we are going to be using the slice method on this. So for us to apply the slice method, let's see what we can do. Okay, and then we are going to actually slice it by saying dot slice, okay, 0, 10. So if after this you should give us this, I think should be good to go like this. Exactly. So you see that the title there has been shortened. You can also apply this method to this also, since we're also using the same title. What we're going to do will be Ctrl C, just replace this. Okay, and instead of 10 we can put 12. Let's see, I can even remove this dot, don't really need it for this. Okay, okay, now for our pricing, that is salary, I mean, we should have dollar here. Okay, so what we're going to do is to create, use the international, that is, let's name our variable dollar local, and then let's use the international, um so international dot number format. So I'm going to be using the US. Okay, using US. Oh, I didn't spell the US word. So we should be using the dollar local in our pricing, in our salary. No, I'm saying price. Okay, let's see how I'm going to do it. Okay, so let's bracket this, and then let's that is give it a dollar local. That is our variable here dot format. So I'm going to be importing this job dot salary. Let's cut it, put it here, and we should be seeing the effect. Let's save it. Okay, I'm not seeing any effect now. What can we do? Okay, I didn't put the dollar sign here, the dollar symbol. Can actually put it here, yes, or let's just put it here. So since it has formatted it to 70 comma thousand, so it does have the dollar beside it. I think we are good to go like this. Let's see. So we have all our job listings here. So the next one is to implement our filtering functionality. Okay, so let's get into the filtering functionality. Now, for the filter functionality, we are going to need to store them in the search params. That is storing them in the URL, storing all these states in the URL. Okay, what we're going to do is first we're going to go to the filter component. So from the filter component, we're going to create a function in the filter component. Let me first remove this sidebar. Okay, so let's first create our function with click handler. That is, I'm going to call it, let's call it handle filter. Handle filter. So it's going to take in all. Since this is the oh, since this is our all button labeled all, so I've forgotten to put this. Okay, now let's create a function for this. Function for handle filter. So is inside this function, we're actually going to be storing our state in our URL. So let's actually begin by creating, so we're going to say const params into new URL search params, and then we're going to put search params. Now it's going to be needing these URL search params will be needing the search params. And for us to get our search param, we're going to have to bring in install search params, store search params from use search params. Okay, so I think we're getting everything straight here. So now, first of all, we're going to have to use this. This will be, we're going to store this as a filter. So this will be the value of our filter. So we can put this here as value. You can actually put it as value, or we can put at anything that you actually want. Since our value takes a string, let us give a strike type of string to avoid errors. Okay, so the next thing is to set our params, our URL params. So using params.set, that's the set function that comes with the params. So we're going to create our make our field. So our attributes, we are going to be attributing our value to filter. Then we're going to store this value. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is to replace. And for us to use this replace, we're going to actually have to install it also from we're going to install it from use router. So const replace. So we're going to be bringing it out of the router. Under use router, we have router push. We have the replace. So we're going to be bringing it out from there. So next navigation and this. So what we're going to simply be doing is adding our replace function, and then we are going to be manually setting our what our URL search params will be at the back of this 3000 in front, I mean, of this 3000. So let's do that. So we're going to get our path name first. Path name. And once to get the path name, we're also going to use path name. That is, use path name is from, we're going to be porting it. Use path name from next navigation, next live navigation. So const, let's just store it here. So we're going to get our path name. So this path name will contain localhost 3000. So path name, and then we're going to put question mark. That is to store our params. So I'm going to say params, which is this. The params that I've set, the values and the filter. Params dot to string. I'm going to set them to string. To string is a function, so we must have to put um the two brackets. So think with this we should be done. If we should click on this all button here, we should see it should take effect here. Let's save it first before we do take any action. So if we should click on the all button, I want to click on the all button now. So clicking on it, you see immediately that it will take effect here. So our value is the whole followed by the filter, which is what we are storing our value into the field. We are storing our value into. So if we click on these other ones, we're not going to be seeing any change here. Only if we import, bring in, let's copy this and put them there. So instead of all you are going to be putting, let's put front end engineer. Okay, so just we are not going to be replacing the values there. So for this it will be back end engineer, and for this it will be develop engineer, and for this last one, I think the last one will be the ML engineer. So if we click on others, we are going to be seeing change. But I want to make a state on the class name, that is the styling. So that in case we click on any of them, it will automatically become this styling, the brown and the orange color will be set to the active one. So what I'm going to do is to actually use this. So let's on in the name, let's apply it. Let's start with the whole. Let's start with our whole. So I'm going to be saying that giving this first. Okay. So we're going to say value should be equal null. If value equal null, or value equals all, that is our value. Now where's our value coming from? Our value is coming from our value will be coming from this. Let's get, so we're going to use search params dot get. For us to use our get our value, we're going to be using search params dot get. So using search params dot get, we're going to be using filter. Since we are storing them, this a string. Since we are storing it in the filter, in this filter field, so for value equals all, null or all. If value equals none or all, then give this tiny. Else that is, if it is not like that, then let's give this tiny. Think after posting this, it should work. It should have, I should not see any error. 16 errors. If value equals none or all, else, okay, okay. I need to confirm, okay, value, I think we're getting it right, though this should be using this. Where is, time is wrong, supposed to be correct. Class name value equals, oh, this is the error I made here. Okay, actually, even though I don't change this, it will still be the same actually, but due to the error I made here, okay, this is a quality sign. So let's bring this, let's just copy this and replace them with the class name. For this, it will be, instead of value equals all, it will be, our value will be front end engineer. Let's front end, let me okay, front end engineer. My spelling correct? Let me confirm that. No, it's not correct. Front end. Okay. Instead of, we are going to remove null, since their null will be for these all attributes, because on first render, on initial render, we are going to be showing the all value, getting the all value. So we want that, and let's save it. Let's see if it will take effect now. So on clicking this, it should take effect. Let's see. Yeah. So you should see front end engineer here. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So let's continue, and by doing it for the remaining ones, which is the back end. Now you see that when we click on this, no effect at all. So we need to replace, also do it for the remaining ones. Okay. So let's copy this for back end engineer V. So instead of all, I'm going to be placing it back end engineer. So this value mistakenly called that view. Okay. So the next one, let's just remove this and replace it with DevOps engineer, and the last one, which is ML, we are going to be replacing it with ML engineer. Okay. Okay, this should be working. Okay, you see automatically it appears here without me even clicking. So if I should click on ML engineer, it should show, it should be slide to this. Now if on initial render it should show all, it should style all as I've set it in. So let me delete the parameters at the back here and reload it. Reload. Okay, it should see I want it. Okay, so automatically it shows all. Those still load. Okay, so the next one is to get, the next step is to actually to get this search parent from the our server component, that is our parent component, which is home, from here. So the way I'm going to get it is by actually putting the search params. Yes, search params. Now with search params here, we're going to put the types here. So for search params, if the search params, we want to get what are the field is we used is filter. So we're going to be using filter and storing this type, the type of this filter as string. Okay, so we can actually get these search params by, let's, so to see what we are doing here, we can say let's first store our value, create our value variable and store what we want to store inside. So I'm going to say search params dot filter to get our value, and what we are going to do, dot filter, and then let's get our value here. Search params dot filter. I'm not supposed to be seeing any error. Okay, okay. So well, I want to get the value of this search params. Now saving it, as you see the results in the terminal here, undefined. I'm getting undefined. Okay, let me put it as for all, or all, that is, let's see if there will be a change. It should all. So if we click on this, we should not see, you will see front end in here. So instead of putting front end in here, just put it, give it a word kind of something. So our value, let's, we are going to be doing changing them here. I don't want to just put them as a word value, not front-end engineer, because I don't want to see the plus sign in between the backend and the engineer like this, just like the front-end and engineer. So let's remove all this, and also the value is going to take effect on the value. Okay, for the backend, for the front end, I think that should be all. So instead of saying front-end engineer characters, we should be saying front end. Waiting for this. Let's try. Let's click this. The styling isn't showing. The same front end here, but I'm not getting the style here. Okay, because we are leaving a space. And then for the ML, I think this is the last one. Okay, okay. So if you try for backend, you see it okay for all. So everything is still working perfectly. There's a little change there. So we're going to come back to our value, our own server component. Because without we putting use server here, is the server component. all components in NextJS are server components unless we add which turns them to a client component. So this is a server component. And so what we're going to do now is start using our filtering functionality. So what we're going to do for this is to say if our value is equal to, that is all, our field, we're going to create, let's create a variable, that is, let's call it filter job. Let's just put it as this. So filter job will be equal to jobs. If that is, if the value is all, so we should see all the jobs. But so if this filter job, instead of we passing this job as jobs, so we're going to be passing it as filter jobs. Filter job. So let's give another okay, another conditional statement. If our value is equals to the front end string, then our filter job will be jobs dot filter. So if it equals front end, we want to be showing only front end title jobs. Okay, so it will be job. We're going to be taking in job.title. Our job.title must be equals front end of where, that is, job.title should be equal front end developer. Hence, in our database, that is in our fake database, we're storing it as front end developer. So that is that. Now, if we let's continue. If our value equals backend, then our filter job will be equals jobs dot. So we're going to be just almost similar to this, to the former one. I mean, job. So to be job dot title equals our backend developer. It must be in capital letter for the, that is, sentence case, because our in our database, if you come to db.ts, you will see this is the way it is written. So let's okay, let's just okay, everything is right. Yes, let's continue. So we still have DevOps and ML. So let's replace this with DevOps and ML. So for DevOps, we stored it as DevOps engineer, and for ML we stored it as ML engineer. So let's delete this developer. So I think upon saving this, we should see our the effect here if we click on any of them. So let's try it. So front end the engineer, we are not seeing any change here. Let's see what's going on. Front end, and also okay. So let's check our database, our fake database file, db.ts. So we have front end, our job title, front end developer. So as why it's like this. So filter job. Okay, let's come to our outcome jobs. Then to our job list. Let's see. The okay, wait. Passing our jobs as this job. Okay. Let's actually what we're going to do for to this is to let's just try to others to see if it's a general problem. Cannot read map of undefined. Reading okay. Oh, the error here is from here. I was supposed to wait. I was actually going to wait to assess the change. Let's see. Let's see. So we're having filtered DevOps. There's also this for me to say this plus here is an error in our filtering component. DevOps. Okay. All these are part of what leads to errors. I think I want to change them. They should take effect now. So if I should delete this, I think I should see. Let's see. Yes, well, it's actually taking effect now. Front end engineer, you'll see front end. Okay, back end, you'll see the rules for this, and for our email, you see this. And if you click all, we should see everything, all our job listings. So for the filtering functionality, we are actually done. Oh, we forgot this search functionality. The next one we're going to do is to come into the next functionality is we're going to be doing now is search functionality. We're actually going to be creating our search functionality. Okay, so for the search functionality, we're going to enter the URL section where the search input is. Let me close this sidebar. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is to first we are going to control the element that is the input. So what we're going to do now is to create a state. Since this is a use client a client component, is we are going to just create a state. Let's just call it set value set value at the set state function use state. I'm going to be importing it. Okay, so for the type is string. Oh, string. Okay, I think this should be, or we can still remove, we will remove this string and we are still going to get, it's still going to be correct, but let's just put it since we're using TypeScript. Okay, so in our input we're going to put our value as value. Okay, and our unchained lambda, it's going to be taking, let's put it as set value a dot target dot value, and our e, that is our event, will be coming from this here. So I'm going to be replacing with it any. Okay, so with this I'm going this input is being controlled. Now the next thing we're going to be doing is to create, let's see, we're going to be creating a function that when we click on this search button, we are going to be is going to be this button is going to be giving us our search result. So let's name our function here to be undo search on click handler, and let's make it undo search. And just like the way we did the filtering functionality, we are going to be adding our value here. So the value will be, yes, we can actually put the value as the value so let's see. I'm going to be putting it as value. So we are going to be creating a function for this function undo search. Okay, now just like the way we created the other one, we are going to say const params and store the URL search params. Now we're going to take in the search params that we're going to be bringing from use search params next navigation. So search params equals use search params, that is next navigation, and then I don't know why this error is coming up. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is our search value, our value will be as put it as, since it's also a string, our value will be string. We can put it as value as string or search value, does not matter actually. Okay, let's put it as search value. Okay, so the next one we're going to be doing, is if we have our search value, if search value, if there is search value, we are going to be taking our params and setting it, putting setting it to a field called search and bringing in our search value. So else we're going to be deleting the params, the params to delete. So deleting, what we're going to be deleting will be the field. So search, our search field. So as usual, like the way we did the first functionality, we're going to bring this replace function from the use router. So const replace use router, which will be coming from use from the navigation, next navigation. So I'm going to be replacing it by, let's do bring in our path name. I'm also going to be installing the path name. Let me just put it there. Let me import it before I proceed. Const path name, then use path, which come from use path name. Okay, so we are going to also, let's see. So I think with that, let's proceed with this. So dollar params dot to string. Now, so I after this, let's just set our value. So oh, so we're going to make our value this input element empty by using set value empty. So I'm set value empty string. So this error, I don't know why I'm seeing this error. Oh, the reason why is I haven't put new when I'm using this new. Okay, with this I think we should get our, so to access this the value from our parent components, which is our server components named home, we are going to, the way we had filter here, we're going to be adding the field called search. The field, then we go to our arrow section, which contains the search input. Okay, the field, what we used to store our field here is search. So we're going to be adding it here. So it will be search, search. If there's search, put it as string. Okay, so we can also now like them const, let's just write that search equals search params. dot what is our search, and we can console mistake here, console.log our search. So think with this we should see this our search, anything we type here in this place presently is showing undefined. So we can just put it as this or empty. Okay, so if anything we type here, we are going to be seeing it in our terminal here. Since the reason why we're going to be seeing it in our terminal here is because we are in the server components. Okay, in what name just type front end. See, automatically we see we are getting our value here. So just like the way we did this, we're also going to be using this using our value from search to also be just changing our what we're going to be getting in our job list here. So first we are going to say if search is not equals to undefined, or search is okay, let me just leave it as this. No, let me put this, or search is not equals to empty string, then what we're going to do is we're going to say our filtered, let's see, it might be a one line kind of something. Filtered job will be equal job dot jobs. I mean, let me bring this here. Seems this is not under our filter job. So job dot filter, taking in this job. So we're going to be, so basically what we're going to be, since we're going to be working with job dot title dot lower, so we're going to lower this anything we type as our input. So what we're going to do is to lower local lowercase, so it must be equal to um our search. That is, we are going to be lowering, I mean, this title we are getting from our job, that our database, so it must be equal to this search dot to lowercase. Once it is equal to that, we should be able to get our results local lowercase. Okay, so with this we should be able to get our results. Okay, so that means if anything we type in our search input must be equals to our the title from our database. So if you should type front end, we are not going to get, if you just type front end here, we are not going to get any um um we are not going to be getting any of the rows. So we need to type front end engineer. Though I'm going to give a solution to that later soon. But let's first see. So local host 30,000, we are reloading it. Let's just put in our front end. We are still that we're not going to get any change here. Search. So no change. I'm noticing something else is not responding. Let me see. And also front end. Let's try front end. Okay. So now there's no change is actually going to happen if we type front end. And then, so for us to see any change, we're going to have to type front end developer. So front end developer. So if we click search, oh, I click the search twice. So front end developer. So you are going to, well, you should be seeing the, let's see, I'm not seeing what I'm supposed to see. Search to lowercase front end developer. Not seeing any. Okay, let's try email engineer. Let's simply just create, make our search. If search is not equals to undefined, then we want it to, our filter job to be equals job. We're going to filter it. Okay, job. Then I'm going to say job dot title dot lowercase. We're going to be taking all our values to lowercase. Then we're going to be quitting what we have in our search. Okay, I think with this we should be able to get, now this our search will also be in lowercase in case we also type our users type it in upper or sentence case. Okay, let's see what we're going to have here. When we type front end, we should see a change in our job list. Okay, front end developer. Now this front end developer, this is why we're going to see a change in our job list, because this front end developer is what restored our title to be in our in our field database, that is db.ts. The db.ts file, you see that we stored it as front end developer. So let's just click on search. It automatically, and it's, I've seen our search results here. So if we type in our backend developer, just put the backend developer, then we're going to also see the changes here. Now let's, I also want to make a situation in which when I type in, if even though they don't type in the full name of the role, you are going to get the search results. By now, if you type in front end, I don't think we'll see any results. So what we are going to actually do is to, under this, we are going to just simply, since our line of code is more than one, okay, if more than one, let's just do this. So it will become filter job equals jobs dot filter job. So we're going to have our job dot to local lowercase title, I mean, dot to local lowercase. Then we're going to start with the start with function. So our search dot to local lowercase. So anytime okay, let me put this. Any, if we start with any value from here, if and it notices in our database, let's say it starts from front or only fr or fron, it should give us front end. So let's try it. Front, I think we get our results here. So if we try back, just back, don't even put in back end, we're going to see also the results. So our search functionality is now working. So the next thing we're going to do is that if you notice it, upon typing, let's say we type in front end developer, developer, okay, front end developer, and we click on search, it will give us the rules, but this value is not changing from all to front end engineer. Like the styling is not being active on front end engineer. So what we're going to do is to go to the filter component. So we're going to be making these changes in our filter component, and what we're going to do is simply we're going to get our search parameters from the URL. And how we're going to do it is to say const search equals search params dot get. So what we use to store our field is search. Here, search. We use this search. Okay, this search is what we use to store it. So let's type in. Okay, let me just cancel this. I'm getting an error here. That's because of this. Let's put in our search field. So the next, what we're going to then now do is to say, put a conditional statement and say if our search to local lowercase dot starts with, so we're going to say start with, let's put that is the m string, then our value should be equal. Already we've set our value here. So what we're going to do is to reassign this value. So to reassign this, I'm going to turn this const to let. So to the left variable. So value, so it will be easier for us to reassign, will be equals ml. So it will be equal to this value here. There's our ml engineer. This value here. Okay. So it's going to be equal to the value of the filter. That is value equals ml. So you can also say if, or you can just put else if. But let me just put if. So if also our search dot to local lowercase dot starts with, if it starts with, let's say that is telling us that is a DevOps engineer role. So value equals DevOps, that is D. Let's DevOps. Let's see. So according to the way we store our value here, I think it should be equals to DevOps. Yes, DevOps. Now let me just copy this. So I'm just going to be changing this. So let's change one to B. That is it should be backend. It should be backend. Let's change this to front. That is F, I mean front end. And this is that, I think that is all the rules. I think that is all the rules, so we don't need this. So we should be seeing the effect taking place here now. Now just reloaded this. Okay. So if you notice it, our search, we're getting front end engineering. That means it's already taking effect. Let's confirm it from our search URL. So you see front end developer. So that is to say, if we type in backend developer, we should also see it. We should switch to this backend engineer filtering button. Okay. So you see it has switched to it, and we also get our roles for that. So if we try for DevOps and others, we're going to be getting the same thing. Let's just try it. Let's just put DevOps and start. Okay, see, we're getting it. Okay, let's come back to all. So now let's come back to all. I'm just noticing something that upon putting our filtering button to all, is not taking me back to all. Let me try for front end. All is not taking me back to all. So what we're going to do is to, anytime we click on this button, we're going to be deleting any search field and many search field, yes, that we have here anytime we click on the filtering button. So what I for us to make that effect, so we're going to say if search. So what we're going to do is to say params dot delete. So we're going to be deleting our search. If there's search, I think this should work. So anytime we click, it should work now. Let's see. Yeah, okay. It's not still taking effect. all. So it is now taking effect now. Okay, so you immediately we click on this all or any of this, it will remove or and clear the search field in the URL. So that is that. Now the next one we're going to do is to sort functionality. We haven't done the sort functionality. So to do that, we are going to come to our sort component. Let's come to our folder here, the sort components file. So this is where we're going to be putting. What we're also going to be doing is to just simply, just like the other ones, let me remove some files that might not be useful. Okay. Well, what we're going to just simply do is to also store this our sorting component in the URL. So to do that, let's just copy this. I just copy. Okay, instead of me copying, let me just take it from scratch. So we're going to say on change. I'm going to put our on change and lie. Okay, so we're going to say our that is the event. First of all, we're going to create a function, but let's name our function handle sort. Target dot value. So because of TypeScript his rule, let's just put as any to avoid. So the only error we'll be getting is handle sort. Let's just create our function for handle sort. Handle sort. Okay. Okay. Target.value. Now this we're also going to soon replace it with, by the time you put, let's just put something. Yes, we should not see any value, but we're still going to come back to it. So now after putting the unchanged on the select tag, select HTML tag, we're then going to take our time value and put all our value in our options HTML tag. So option of HTML tag, I mean, so that is this will be title. I'm going to make this title of, let me say this, title dash dex, then title dash ascending, and then let's make this, let's just make this salary or salary dot. So dex, that's descending. This ds you mean descending. So this one will be salary to ascending. Okay. So what we're going to do is now to come back to our handle sort function. Let's just copy this. I'm going to just let's just copy all this because I'm going to be needing this. Copy all these oops. So yes, use search params coming from use navigation. Next navigation, I mean. I want it to automatically install it. Okay. And so we're going to start using all these soon. And also let's just copy some of this. So search components. So search params do set. So what we're going to be using instead of filter, we're going to be using sort. Let's just put it as value. So value. So if there's sort, if there's search also, it would also, that means for us to use this search, we're also going to if there's search, we don't need to delete search in this case. Let me just delete this. Okay. I'm receiving error here. Next router was not mounted. Let's see. Use router. Oh, it's coming from next router, not next navigation. No, no, no. So let's just use router. Okay, the error should be gone by now. So this will be a string. Okay, TypeScript. I'm waiting for the error. Okay, so now we don't have any error. Okay? We don't have any error. So the next thing we're going to do is to, since we have set our params to sort field and attaching the value to the sort field, the next thing is to then, I'm thinking of either deleting search or not. Since we apply that, let us apply it here. Let me apply. So let me just delete in case we have, as if we have, let me leave it actually. I might, if there's need to delete it later on, I will delete it. So I think with this we should be done with our sort component um file. So to get all these values, we are going to need to go to the home, that is the page.tx. That is where the server component, the parent folder for that one, that is the server component. So we're going to also get, I'm getting sort from the search params. So string. Now this sort is the field. I think I've said it when we were doing the filter and search functionality. So this sort is the field. Okay. So just like the way we confirm all this, let me just, so I'm going to say const and make the sort equals search params dot sort. Think with this. So let's see our value from sort, from the sort field. Let's just clear this our terminal and see. Okay, showing us undefined. Let's just put, or if that is the case, well, let's just put title descending. So instead of showing undefined, it should be showing title descending as default. So let's try to change it and see what we're going to be getting for the other ones. Title ascending is actually working, and if you try for job salary, you get salary descending and salary ascending. Okay, so let's just come back to title descending. Okay, so what we're going to do now is to use this sort. Well, instead of using filter, we're going to be using sort function. But before we get to that, let's first split. You know, if you notice, we're having this salary to ascending. Okay, so what we're going to do is to, we're going to split the sort value so that they are descending will mean for decreasing, and the salary will be to sort it towards the salary side. Don't worry, when I continue, you're going to understand what I'm trying to explain here. Okay, first let's split our value. Let me call it sort x. So this will be sort x. Okay, but we don't actually need this, but let's just continue. So what we're going to do is to actually I'm going to split sort x. So I'm going to split is going to take in this dash that is in between them. So let's put them inside a variable field and direction. So the title will be the field or the salary, and the direction will be the ascending or descending part. Okay. So what we're going to do next is now to, we can actually confirm this by saying console.log field and still it should give us field. So you see that it's giving us a title, so it has split it. So we're going to be using this with the sorting function to do this. Okay, so what we're going to say is, let's, just like the way we use this filtered job and use let for the filtered job, we're going to say let sorted um job. So it's going to be undefined, and then what we're going to do next is to say our sorted job will be equals filtered job dot, so our filtered job dot sort is going to take in A and B. Okay, and we're going to get our A to be, let's put this as our field, and then to be our field also. Okay, this error, okay, where is so does not exist on a type never. Okay, for this, let's just bring this down. Think yes, we can take it here. Okay, so for the error to be, let's put it as any, don't have time for this. Okay, any, and so with this issues, we are going to be getting it in a descending order with this frame, with this. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be multiplying this with a particular number. So let's create, for us to do that, we can just say ternary operator, but let me just put it in a variable and say const. Let us put that if is descending equals direction equals, that is an ascending. If direction equals ascending, then it should be 1 or -1. So if direction, that is the direction we're getting from here, is equals to ascending, it should be 1, else it should be -1. So we're going to be multiplying this by minus, by the is descending. We're going to put it here. Instead, we're going to put it here is descending. So I think with this we should see, let's see what we got here from our sorting. So with this, it should be the title. Let's try with the title descending. Let's put our ascending. No change here, no change, no change. So for this, we are going to say if, oh, the reason why there's no change, I've forgotten. The reason why there isn't any change here is simply because this sorted job, we haven't passed it as a prop to this. So what we're going to see is just sorted job. We're going to replace filter job with sorted job. So I think it will take effect. It is. Let me clear the terminal. Okay. I'm waiting to see. Let me reload. Okay. It's not taking, it should take effect now. No effect is still taking place. So basically, let's see what how the problem we're having here. The problem we're having here. Okay, it's descending. So we're taking our field. Our field, let's put it as a salary. Our salary should be descending. It should work for salary. I think no, it's not working. Let's try the ascending. Ascending for the salary, it's working for ascending. Okay, but isn't working for descending. It is not working for descending. So what we're going to do now is to see if our field equals salary, salary and direction. Okay, does this put it as this? Honestly, I think, let's see. Sorting job salary descending. Descending. Descending is not working. If direction is ascending, it should be 1. Let me put it as descending. Let's see. Actually, this is wrong because direction, if direction is descending, it will be -1. So it should be ascending. Okay. So the thing there is that I have not actually put this in brackets. So me putting this in brackets will allow the multiplication to go through this. Okay. Let's see. Yes, exactly. So for the salary, yes, if the this field is equal salary, descending and ascending should also work. If you notice that field for the descending is going from 90,000, which is the highest, to 50,000. So let's try for our ascending. Don't think we will see errors in ascending. Okay, that's it. So for we can also, okay, let's come down to, or if for our let me see the other one we have here. Same again, title, job title. So just by job title, okay, if field equals title, so the one we're going to actually do is, say we're going to say sorted job equals filter job dot sort, and it's going to take A, giving it the type of any, B, giving it the type of any, and our A can actually see, we can actually give this and we say dot A dot title. So our A maybe dot title, coming, this should actually take this and field equals, so we should have for field equals salary, our field should also equals title. We should be getting the same thing, field equals title, or just put it as all. It's all that we're going to put it as. Okay, so let's see. It's not actually working. It is not actually working on the field called of the on the field of title, of job title. So what we're going to do is to narrow down by giving it another conditional statement and see if field equals title, and where is it? And our descent, our direction equals ascending. Let us put it as ascending. It should be, let me copy this. So I'm going to just put it as, let me just put b dot title, b dot, let me see, our filter job content, okay, dot title, dot title, okay. So we're going to say if a dot title is greater than b dot title, we should it should have 1, else -1. So for the ascending, it should be working. Let's see. We need to remove this. There's an error. Okay. For the ascending, it should be working. Yes. Okay. But for the descending, I don't think it will work. No, it's not working for the descending. Okay. So what we're going to do is also create another if statement. I say, or we can just say else if. So instead of the, we're going to just, instead of ascending, we're going to put descending. So in this situation, we're going to say b dot title be greater than a. If b dot title is greater than a dot title, then it should be 1, else -1. With this, I think it should work. Let me also put this in as else if. Okay. Okay. Let me separate this. Sure. Yes, it should be working now. So it's going from U, which is the highest, which is the highest in the alphabetical order, to B. Okay, I think everything should be working now. For the salary descending, and for the job title ascending, and also for job title ascending, yes, and also for the salary this I'm ascending. Let's see. Okay, so while getting all this correct, let's remove this console.log field and also this. Okay, so the next one we're going to be doing now, it will be the, we're going to be building our contact us page. And initially we put our contact us page as, I think, hello. So we didn't build anything here. Just put it as hello. Okay, so we're going to be designing this our contact us page. Okay, styling of our contact us page. Since we have created the contact us, and let's first remove all this file that we don't need for now. Okay, so let's come down to our contact page .tss. Okay, so let's just replace this by putting a component here. I'm going to be putting a component. Let's just name the component contact. Okay, so let me create a component here in a components folder. I'm going to be creating it here. So contact.tss. Think so. Export default function contact. Okay, so what we are going to basically be doing here is to actually, we are going to bring in other components. We're going to make this use a client component by adding, let's first make it a use client component, and also we're also going to be adding our navbar component. Okay, our navbar component, and I'm going to create a component now. I'm going to call the contact form component. That will be later. So let's import this contact. Okay, so let's now create our contact form component. Contact form.css. So just put this default function contact form. Okay, already this is automatically a useless component. I said it earlier on when I was breaking down the components for the home page. Automatically this will be a useless component since the parent component here, there's the contact us, is a use client. So this will be a use client component without we even indicating use client. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do now, we're getting an error here. Contact form, let's just for the contact form, let's give a div copy tag of hello, and let's import it here and see how. Let's just see how. Okay, I'm getting this error here simply because I've not put them into a div. Okay, we should get what we want there. Also style it. Let's just give it a style. Let's give it a styling of, okay, background orange 200, and we're going to make it a mini race, an ice cream, minimum ice cream, and also for the medium, nice for the medium size screen, I'm going to make it a padding of 20. I think we just see. Let me clear this time now. You see what? Oh, I haven't imported the contact component. The contact component, export default function contact. It should be coming from. I think that should be correct. Let's come to our contact us. Click on this. Why is it not click? Oh, I think the mistake is from here. I'm using this. Let's put contact page. So when we come here, we're going to say contact page. So this will be contact. Contact. I think the problem should be solved by that. Import component from, that is oh, this will be import contact page. Supposed to be importing contact page from this part. Let me see. Let me rename this because this is actually okay. So this will be contact page. So I think we should get. Let me reload it. Okay, I'm waiting for it to load up. Since what we're going to do is, okay, since we're going to cut the connection and I'll actually reopen the terminal, rerun the terminal. Okay, it's for it to come up. So npm run div as usual. Npm run div should get, once it has run, we're going to see our results here. Okay, so let's come to our contact us page. We should see the changes here. Okay, so the changes are taking effect. Let's click it again. So we're going to be styling and creating our form, our contact form. This hello. We're going to be styling it now. So to style the contact form, we're going to be creating our div. Let's replace this data with div and div. So we're going to create our form. We're using the form tag, HTML tag. Then let's just create a div inside this div. Because I'm going to come back to style the div, but I want to just create this another sub div on div under this parent div as inside a form tag. So let's style this div. So what we're going to do, since we want the form to be in the center, that is in the center here, we're going to flex, first flex, then justify center and item center, then our height of screen. Let me remove the sidebar. Okay, okay. So next one is to style this div. We're going to be giving it a background color of white and making a padding of 4. We're going to make it rounded. Okay, and give a width of 80%. On the medium screen, we want the width to be 60%, 66%, and on the large screen, we want the width to be 50%. While on the extra large screen, we want it to be 33.33%. So width 1/3. Okay, so we are going to be adding the heading tag, and what we're going to write here will be the fill this form, okay, fill this form to get in touch with us, and then we're going to style it, giving it a text of center and font of semi bold, and make the text a little bit larger. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is to create another div. Let us create another div here. So we're going to give this div a label HTML tag, and also an input. Well, let's give our label a name of let us give it name, and also let's style our div before we continue. Let's give it a class name of padding top 4, and for the label, let's give it a class name of block, and what else do we need? I think for now this, let's put the input element. Okay, and our input will take a class name of padding class name of px2, and py2 rounded outline none width full border of 2 border orange 200. Think setting the border of is done like that. Then you can just give it a name and id. Let's give it the name of name and id. Let us leave the id. We do okay. Let's give it a placeholder. Our placeholder will be fill in your name. Okay, let's see how what we got here. Well, I'm going to load up here. I'm waiting for it to load up. Let me reload the page. Okay, now the reason why we're getting this name here is because this div is outside this. It will actually be, if we putting it outside there, we'll be making this to be flexed, the two div to be flexed. That's why we're getting this styling mistake there. So I think with this it should be sorted out. And then yes, so let's go to the next. Let's just copy this. Let's copy this and let's put it here. Instead of padding top, let's give it a padding top of 3. And then for the name, instead of name, put email. And here the type will be email. And for name, we're going to give it email. Please fill in your email here also. Think with this, let's see how it goes. Okay, so let's also paste it here again. Then instead of using, we are going to be using test area. Since we are using message, we're going to be allowing the message here. Let's just put in our message, then change this padding top to 3. Then right here, we're going to remove the test input element and put test area. So our test area here, the name will be message, and let's just put message. Let's remove this. I don't think we will need a cool, and let's just remove this for now. If we are going to be needing it, I'll be adding it. Okay, so let's try this. I'm going to give it a class name of resize none, and we're going to make it rounded and the others, and our outline will be known. So no outline, width full, border to, and we're going to give it a border orange. Let's set it to 200. And with this, let's see what we got. Waiting for it to load up. Okay, let's give it a placeholder. A placeholder of let me give it your message. Okay, I think this should be enough. But I want this message. Yeah, let's do it like this. And let's come down and by adding to add the button. The button. So let's give the button a div. Okay. Button. So let's put submit message and style our button. Give it a class name of background orange 950, and let's make it width full. Test enter. Okay, and our padding top and bottom will be 2 rounded, and also test, making the text white. So I think for the padding, let's see how it appears. This is actually outside the div. Oh, I mistakenly put this outside the div. What's going on? Okay, so the button, the div in which I used to enclose the button is outside. So it should the change to appear now. Okay, and this is your message. I want it to have a padding. Let's see, a padding px2, and let's just also give it py2. Think that should be enough. Okay, and for this, let's give this a class, the button, the div enclosing the button. Let's give it a padding top 4. Okay, okay, so let me view it on medium size screen. Okay, not bad. So we start our contact us page. To round this up, we're going to check if all our functionality are working. So let's start from our search functionality. Let's put in front end developer and click search. We're not receiving any change here. That is, well, dams are having problem with somewhere here. Let's see what is going on. Okay, front end dev. Why is it not filtering out? Seems, let's go through our code. Okay, so for the field, actually was not supposed to put this sort functionality, this sort code for this code. Let me highlight it for sorting before the filter. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to put this, and then we're going to put it here. So what we're going to do now is to bring this code. Where is our sort code, functionality code? Then we're going to cut it. Think we should not be having any errors. Then we should bring it down here. Should Let me just put this as sort. Okay, think with this there shouldn't be any error. Maybe it's due to rearrangement of the code. Let's see. Let's save it. Now I've saved it, and let's see what we got here. front end, of course, is due to the rearrangement. Okay, so let's put this. Where's our search functionality? So for this search, let's I'm going to say filtering, and then we're also going to put this as we're going to be putting this as our search. Okay, let's see how it goes. So let's see. Let's click on DevOps. All our functionality should be all working. So for our filtering functionality, we're still getting everything all right. And let me come back to our search to confirm what we have done. Let's try backend dev developer this time. You did not spell this well. Okay, backend engineer. Okay, is working. So let's try just putting backend, or just put just like that. Let's try with front end to bring out for front end rules. Okay, so let's try our sorting functionality. This is going from 50 to 90, that is our sending. So let's try the sending for the salary. Okay, it's working. Now try our sending. Should also be working. Think everything is working here. For both our search, I mean our sorting and our filtering functionality. Let's then come to our contact us page. Okay, it should load up our contact us page. So let's go back. And the next thing we're going to be doing is to make sure that when we click on this view listing, it brings up the details of this. That means we are going to be getting our results from the database also. So what we're going to do is to come to our folder here and create another route. Or now I'm going to name it, give it a dynamic routing of that is ID. Then we'll give it a page, then make the page.css for the routing. So we are then going to create our, so I'm going to name it export default function, and then let's give it a name of page. We can also give it a name of job ID, but let's give it a name of page. And then we're going to just say return. We're going to create a component. Let's give the component the name of job details. Let's then go to our component to create the job details component. Okay, job details.txt component. So we are going to just come to our job details, export default function. So job details return. Let us give it a div of hello. So the next thing we are going to do is to just import it here, so avoid any errors. So now we're going to get our data from the database by saying function get data. I'm going to name this our function get data, and then we're going to give it an ID, since we're going to be getting our ID, and then I'm going to store this once data equals our DB, which we are importing from our library dot find, and then I'll give it a job name, and then make it job dot id and equals number of ID. We're going to make this our ID number. Turn it from string to number. Okay. So our ID here is going to be, let's give it a string. Okay. So the next thing we're going to now do is to return our data. Now we're going to bring in this functionality here by saying, actually we're going to, because this we're going to be using our params. So params is from the params we're going to get our ID params, and then we're going to say params. We're going to go to the ID of our params and give it a type of number. Think we then we're going to remove this, okay, and then we can then come here and say const our job equals get data. Since we're going to be getting our param ID from our params, so params dot id. So we're going to then send it as a prop to our client component. Okay, then let's come to receive it here. So it will be job, put it as any. Oh, mistake, any problem here. Params, he said argument of type number is not assignable to parameter of string. Okay, so what we're going to do is to set this to number. Think, okay, so the error is gone. So now let's, in our page dot txs, we're going to be putting our our metadata, that is export default async, function generate metadata, and then we're going to, for this our metadata, they are going to be using, we are going to be using our get data function. But before that, let's put in our title. We are going to see the importance of what I'm saying. Title, and then we're going to say details on, let's just give a job of front end developer. Now this front end developer will be dynamic. So for us to know if it's going to be a front end developer or ML engineer or UX designer, we are going to be using our function here. So rule. Okay, so what we're going to now do is to just say, let's just put it as this. I'm coming back to it. So we're then going to say const. Let us copy this, and so for us to use our params, we're also going to get our params from here. Params, nice. So we're going to be using params. Then let's just put any, and params dot id. Then we're going to say job, our job dot title. So with that, it's going to make that dynamic. So if it is a ML rule, it's going to state it. If it's a DevOps rule, it's going to state it. So then let's come back to our job details component to give it a styling. So what we're going to now do is we're going to make sure that when we click on this, it's going to be taking us to our, to this file routing. So it's going to be slash at the end in slash the ID. So what we're going to do now is to actually go to our job list. Then our job list, we're going to say Next, we are going to go to the button, and in our button on click, so on click function, then we're going to give it a router dot wait. I thought we've installed the router before earlier on. No, we are going to install our router. So let's see constant router equals use router from next navigation. So we're going to then say router dot push, and then we're going to give it template string, that is slash dollar job, okay, dot id. Okay, so when we click on any of these, it will take us to the id of the job. So let's save this. So let's try it by clicking on any of these. So let's click view listing, and click the combined, and then reload this page. Okay, so I'm going to click on view listing. So it's taking us to, we're getting our ID of theory, and then it's taking us to, you see that it's getting from here, say details, they start fetching the data for the metadata. So now it's time for us to start styling our job details component. So what we're going to do is to come to our job details component and replace this div, and just add another div. Then we are going to give the name of, put a p tag and put it as job title. Then let's style our div, give it a py of 4, that's padding of 4, padding top and bottom of 4, a background color of orange, okay. And for the p tag, we're going to be styling it by giving it a class name of test center, and then test excel font semi bold. We're going to, that is that. Let's see how it works. It will work before we continue styling. Okay, okay. Now what we're going to do next is to then, let's create another div. We're going to create another div, and then we're going to give name. Let's style this div. I give it a padding left and right of 8, setting the margin top of 8, and the medium, for the medium screen, width 3/4, and for the, let's make it all mx auto, and our large, for the last screen we're going to give it a width of 66.6%, and on the extra large screen we're going to give it a width of 50%. So we're going to create another div here, and then in this div, let's create a p tag. Let's then put this as job description. We need to style this p tag by giving it a class name of text large, and our font to be semi bold, another bold, and then I think for another should be, this should be all. Okay, for the job description. And what we are going to do now is to, under this we are going to create another p tag, another p tag for adding our job the description. Okay, so we're going to style this, give it a test of sm, and then we're going to say test slit 400 and margin top of 2. We have to see the results here. Okay, instead of I put I added capital letter there instead of small letter, so let's replace that. So Ctrl S, I want to remove this sidebar by. So okay, it should show us here. Okay, so I've gotten this. Now the next one is to add our job requirements, and for us to do that, I'm going to create another div. Okay, and to this div we're going to give it a class name of empty8, and so we're going to add a p tag for the title, which is job requirements, and also let's style this by saying class name text lg and font semi bold. Okay, so that is all. Now let's give a our p tag so be job dot requirement, no, job dot requirement. Okay, now let's style this. You can just copy the styling from here, then paste it here, and let's see our result. Waiting for our result to show. Okay, so we have our job requirement here. Then let's add our job location. So for our job location, we're going to also be creating, let's just copy this, and so we're going to just put job location, and for our job location, I want to say job, replace this with location. I think that is all we're going to need for that. And for our, let's just copy, paste it here again. For our, where we're going to be adding our job salary. So salary, then we're going to be adding yes salary. Okay, next let's see what we have, what we got here. Okay, for our salary, we are going to have to put so use the intl method to make this 60,000. So what we're going to do is going to create a variable and call it $local equals intl dot number format. We're going to be using the US. Okay, so we're going to be importing this. So bringing it here, I mean, and then so dollar local dot format. Okay, with this it should be done. So let's put dollar here. So we can put it here. So let's see how it works for that. Okay, so the next one we're going to do now is to actually add a button, and this button that we're going to add will be our the go back button. So to add that, we're just going to create a div, and our div will contain a button. which is go back. So let's first style our div. We are going to style our div by giving it a flex justify end. So take it to the end, and then px it mdpx then, and I think with this we are good to go for the div. Now let's style our button and give it a background color of orange. Okay, and let's make it rounded, give it a text of white, and our padding, and also let's give it an over styling of background orange. Let's set it to 200, and over for the text will be text black. So let's create an on click. So on click handler here will be taking a router, the router dot back. I'm going to be putting it, and okay, so let's now set this to the small route, because the variable I'm going to be storing it in will be the router in small letter. So const router equals use router next navigation, and because we are using the on click handler, we have to put this as the client component, and also the use router is also used in the client's component. So use client. I think with this we should be done. So with this, so if you click on go back, you notice the over styling is working. It's still loading the page. Okay, so if you click on go back, it's going to take us to our home page. Okay, now you can just click on any view listing and see the results. So that is that. So all our functionalities now are working. So that's all. Let's view it on desktop screen view. For viewing it here, we are seeing this. Okay, we are getting this. Okay, that's if we click on view listing, it will still be the same. Okay, view listing. So we can sort it by ascending, and also the salary. So we can filter this, and we can also apply the search. So we are done with this.